It has only been a couple of days since the reveal, but we've got a ton of new details, updates, and more regarding Battlefield 6, and I know many of you are really excited for this one. This new Battlefield is promising a return to what we loved about Battlefield 3 and 4, but giving us a wealth of improvements. One major fan-requested feature is finally making its way back, as the devs aim to deliver us an incredible FPS experience that's not only bigger, but more intense, mind-blowing, and even more engaging. This breakdown I'm bringing you today does dive into 10 things that you need to know about Battlefield 6 before it launches, so let's dive straight into the details. First up, Battlefield 6 is bringing back environmental destruction in a very big way, with many of the buildings and structures within the game fully mapped to collapse when their supports break. It looks like a massive evolution on the Bad Company 2 system, with sections of wall, ceiling, and supportive steel custom built to fall apart. You may remember, but in 2042, destruction was incredibly limited, and this was a far cry from what we kind of expected in a Battlefield game within multiple years. DICE is now calling this brand new system tactical destruction, which in practice means not everything can be destroyed, but a majority still will be. Specific walls and map sections won't be much affected even when hit by high explosives, but that's to maintain that sort of tactical feel and also preserve the flow and balance of every single map. It's a concession that Battlefield 3 also needed to make, but then again the hardware couldn't handle nearly as much as current gen consoles and PCs can today. Still, the destruction here is absolutely insane, and you can pretty much level most buildings within each map. I can't believe I even have to say this, but classes do make their triumphant return in Battlefield 6. That's right, Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon play their traditional roles with their more traditional kits, and I know this is such a welcome return, and I bloody love to see it. This means classes like Assault will use their own assault rifles, grenade launchers, and has enhanced mobility to be the tip of the spear. But then you have classes like Support that will specialize in LMGs, have the use of defibs, and can even heal their allies. One thing though that I think many within the community are still mixed on is that all classes can use all weapon types, but they receive a special bonus for using their focus weapon type. Engineers using SMGs, for instance, get a hipfire accuracy bonus that makes them usable out to a middle distance from their hip. It has been said by Battlefield Studios and also EA will host both traditional lobbies where weapons are locked and then open lobbies, and they'll basically make their decision based on player feedback prior to their launch dates. You might be wondering what comes with Battlefield 6 at its launch, especially since previous titles were sometimes criticised for lacking content at their respective price points. Well, this time around things are looking even more promising. When the game drops this October, you'll get a fully developed single player experience, which is a welcome return and something I'll touch on more a little bit later. Multiplayer of course still remains the core focus here and is launching with a very strong lineup, plenty of new maps, a heavily overhauled portal mode, and even a tease of a potential battle royale. Pre-orders for this one though are now live, with the base game priced at £70 here on the Xbox Store, and Game Pass Ultimate members can even get a 10% discount. There's also a Phantom Edition which is also available, which does include some multiplayer cosmetics and Battle Pass skips, which is kind of the standard fare for premium editions these days. If you're big on multiplayer, it might be worth it, but even then the base edition seems solid for the amount of content that will be offered at its launch. So, in terms of multiplayer, there will be 9 maps available when Battlefield 6 launches. 8 of them are brand new, and the 9th is a remake of Battlefield 3 map Operation Firestorm, and to be honest, I'm quite happy with that as it's a nice selection right out the gate. Every map is also designed for every single game mode, as is the Battlefield tradition, and they take place across a variety of different locations and environments. You can also expect the traditional Battlefield modes across this, like Breakthrough, Conquest, and even Rush. I have chucked the visual on screen now, and these are Liberation Peak, Empire State, New Sobek City, Manhattan Bridge, Iberian Offensive, Mirak Valley, Siege of Cairo, Saints Quarter, and Operation Firestorm. As mentioned, the maps mix infantry and vehicle gameplay, with some close quarters enough that vehicles have little impact, and others supporting all combat types with impressive set pieces, jets, helicopters, and so much more. Notably, Battlefield 6 has dropped the 128 player matches, and is now capped it at 64 players to ease server load and allow DICE to focus on more traditional map design and also enhance that overall environmental destruction. You already know that there'll be overhauls in terms of its gunplay, as with any new Battlefield experience. However, one area which is being overhauled, which seems to be a pretty large and welcome addition, is the movement system. The new system is called the Kinesthetic Combat System, and it uses screen movement and visual feedback to help all of us instinctively adapt without checking stats or even weapon charts. This means we can do things like placing weapons on surfaces like walls or ledges, and that reduces recoil and improves performance in long-range combat or defense. You can also see in the multiple gameplay trailers and also previews that you have the rolls and backward prone movement that we had in Battlefield 5, but now we have even more movement aspects where guns will sway in different directions, climbing through buildings or over rubble is much more fluid, and so much more. It's certainly a welcome change, and it looks even more impressive when it's in action. I have to say, Portal was quite a disappointment in 2042, and it was such an underbaked feature that needed so much more love. Don't get me wrong, there were some cool modes and levels that were made by the community, but due to the lack of design choices and players actually making custom lobbies, it kind of fell to the wayside. Well, after a few years and a lot of rework, the teams at Battlefield Studios have completely revamped Portal in a massive way, and it looks bloody incredible. Portal in Battlefield 6 is a far cry from its initial form, granting players the ability to craft their own maps, modes, and mode modifiers. It comes with a deep set of tools as well for creating custom content, whether that means creating new maps, modifying or improving current ones, and tons of additional features, and I can't wait to see the insane creations. In a move that we've also been asking for since 2042, XP gains are also fully supported in Portal mode as well. That means you can level up your character, unlock weapons, and progress through the ranks without sticking strictly to standard multiplayer modes. It's looking like a really fleshed out mode, and again, I'm stupidly excited to see what players create in this overhauled Portal. One major concern among Battlefield fans has been the push for grounded gameplay without over-the-top skins or weapons. We have seen Call of Duty's increasingly absurd cosmetics and crossovers, and it's something many, including myself, strongly dislike and really hope that we don't see in Battlefield 6. Thankfully, Battlefield 6 design director Shashank Uchil, a series veteran since Battlefield 5, has confirmed there's no plans for wacky collaborations. He emphasised the following: "It has to be grounded. That is what Battlefield 3 and 4 was. It was all soldiers on the ground. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Let's keep it real." Honestly, this is such great news, and hopefully a direction that the team sticks with well beyond its launch. Finally, we are getting a proper single-player campaign, and this is the first time we're getting a fully fledged experience since Battlefield 4. That's if you exclude the mini war stories that we received in both BF4 and also 5. Unfortunately, we don't know too much about the Battlefield 6 single-player campaign, though the story does seem to be a fairly standard near-future affair. We know so far that it is set in 2027, and you'll play as an elite unit of Marine Raiders called Dagger 1-3. This is all amidst a power struggle between a shaky and uncertain NATO alliance and the rising threat of Pax Armada. The campaign looks to be filled with tons of set pieces you'd expect from a Battlefield title, including the bombing of what looks to be Brooklyn Bridge, massive troop deployments, and special operations. The Battlefield studio team has said we'll learn much more as launch draws closer, so stay tuned to the channel to hear more very soon. As a little teaser towards the end of the multiplayer reveal event, there was the announcement of what appears to be a battle royale, and it's been since confirmed that this is indeed a battle royale, and it will be coming to us very soon. We don't know the map as of yet, even though there's been quite a few leaks online, but so far there's no other details that have been shared. All we know is that it's an encroaching fire like we saw in Battlefield 5, so we can presume the leaks of instantaneous death when you hit the circle will actually be real, and also there seems to be a less serious tone about it. Anywho, I'm keen to hear what your thoughts are on this new battle royale down below. You may be wondering though, when can you expect to get your hands on Battlefield 6, and is there a way to try this game out prior to its release? Well, the game officially launches on the 10th of October for this year, and there's no option to play the full game early like we see with other game launches. If you do want to try the game, there will be an open beta period which takes place over the next 2 weekends, and I've chucked the image on screen now. You can also see you can get slightly early access to this beta by getting a code if you participated in Battlefield Labs, or if you were lucky to get one during a live stream of the reveal and got a code from a creator. It certainly isn't a long wait by any means, and I can't wait to try out Battlefield 6 very soon. So make sure to subscribe down below for more Battlefield and Xbox coverage here on the channel. With that though, what do you think about Battlefield 6? Are you hyped for this brand new entry, and will you be taking part in the open beta? You'll have to let me know down below. Do you like this video if you enjoyed, and whilst here, why don't you check out the video on screen now as I covered the 18 brand new Xbox and Game Pass announcements that happened over the past week.